Welcome along to the Motorsport Arena Oschersleben, where the EuroNASCAR 2 category is just a few moments away from rolling onto the circuit. I notice Herbie is down there as well. That's interesting. It's going to be a dramatic race. I have no doubt there are some question marks here for Vladimiros Siortsis. That is a big player in this championship, and it's someone who seems to have been struggling with car problems today. Did not qualify earlier on. Vladimiros Siortsis, the points leader, did not qualify this morning. Had issues with the car, and, well, he's hoping that those have been rectified by his Academy Motorsport team. He came into this weekend with a 3-point lead over the surging Paul Dufresne. Paul Dufresne on 280 points to Vladimiros Siortsis 283 at the start of this weekend. Alberto Nasca just 6 points back as well. He's well worth keeping an eye on. Jill Linster just 19 back in fourth as well. It does seem as though it's going to be between one of those four, but we'll have to keep an eye on whom. Thomas Dombrovski, 5th in the points and leading the rookie trophy. Claudio Remeggio Capelli, 7th in the points and the leader in Legend Trophy as well. But Siortsis has had a difficult day in EuroNASCAR Pro. He did a couple of laps of qualifying this morning before having to pull in. He did not compete in EuroNASCAR 2 qualifying at all, and the car started from pit lane in EuroNASCAR Pro earlier today in the race. However, it quite clearly wasn't up to speed, so that is a potential issue for the team, for the driver to have to weather. Alberto Nasca's 54 car there, the Cal Racing entry. Well, the German fans have been treated to a wonderful Saturday so far. The NASCAR GP of Germany returning for the first time in several years and returning at a new facility for the first time at the Motorsport Arena Oschersleben. This circuit 3.6 kilometers in length, with 14 corners strewn across the layout, chicanes, long sweepers, and S-bends. Plenty of overtaking opportunities as well, but I think they're overtaking opportunities that require a less than deft hand. You need to go physical, you need to fight for your positions around this circuit. We saw some good racing between everybody earlier on in the EuroNASCAR Pro race, and we're expecting the same over the course of the 16 laps for EuroNASCAR 2 as well. Well, we're going to descend into this race in the not too distant future. The weekend, the celebratory nature of the weekend kicked off early when they headed along the avenues towards Oschersleben, the town rather than the circuit. They went to the Marktplatz Oschersleben for a nice fan interaction event, revving the engines and getting up close and personal, both cars and drivers up close and personal in public in the middle of Oschersleben. And it was a sight to behold. They couldn't forget about tomorrow by any means, but Thursday was quite the release, I think, for our drivers, far from just a day. Ryan Vargas joining us in EuroNASCAR Pro this weekend. You saw him there giving the thumbs up. He has been loving the atmosphere of EuroNASCAR. Of course, we did a similar parade recently at Vallelunga as well. But a great opportunity for the fans to not just find out about EuroNASCAR, but get up close and personal, those who are already fans, but also making lots of new fans as well. I'm sure a few people came to Oschersleben for other purposes on Thursday, saw the cars and the stars, and are now on the spectator banks taking in all of the energy. Well, I'm sure that they will be shattered by the end of the weekend, but it was certainly a bunch of fresh faces on the Thursday. Great to see everyone getting involved Ryan Vargas trying to do his signings there. That's Jesse Punch from the NASCAR Cup Series International feed. She will be, I believe, Grand Marshal again, as she was earlier on in EuroNASCAR Pro. The cars are running then down towards the first corner, and they will soon line up on the grid for the countdown to the commands. It will not be long before the racing begins in earnest. And when they do get there, I'm sure they'll be greeted by my colleague Andre Viegold. It's his first time at a home event for a while. The NASCAR GP Germany has been absent from the calendar for a little while, but they found a brilliant home for it here in the motorsport arena Oschersleben. There are quite a few places around this circuit where you can go too wide. There is some quite heavy cambering at turns 2, 3 and 7 of this facility. Turn 2 is hotel. That is such a long corner, somewhere in the region of 180 degrees, and I'm sure that the left side tyres between turns 2 and 7 are really struggling this weekend. The Hoosier tyres have to go the distance across both races in both EuroNASCAR Pro and EuroNASCAR 2. Turn 3, Schlossgold hairpin, is very heavily banked, as is turn 7. Some good overtaking as well, potentially into turn 11 as well. The long run off the chicane at turn 10. If you put a foot wrong at turn 10, you leave yourself open down that long back straight, and we've seen a couple of drivers fall victim to that already. In fact, we saw that from Gianmarco Ercoli in particular, didn't we, earlier on? Gianmarco Ercoli had a difficult race, only finished 5th position. New championship leader in EuroNASCAR Pro, that being Vittorio Gorelli. I think when Gianmarco Ercoli wakes up in the morning, he'll feel that yesterday went too soon. But Vittorio Gorelli will be very elated with the events of Saturday. The 27 car, the double V machine, Patrick Schauber. He is a hugely talented youngster. We look forward to seeing him plying his trade there once again. He has been very quick at times this year. I think he's been working day in, day out to improve this season, and we're starting to see the fruits of that labour. We'll see whether he can secure a victory here today. He'll have some work to do, though, with the likes of this man, Paul Dufresne, up ahead of him. Andre Viegold, you're with Paul.
Paul, you're a regular guest because you're pulling double duty in both championships. Now it's the championship battle. Now it counts, right?
Attends, ouais, Franck, je t'entends, je suis en interview. Yeah, can you repeat, please?
Now it's time for the championship battle. Now it counts, right?
Yeah, and the outside line seems to be the fastest line at the start. So, this will be a race. Yeah, we will see.
All right, good luck and have fun. Back to you, Adam.
There you go. I thought I was really struggling to understand Paul early on. It turned out he was speaking French, so that was helpful for my for my feelings there. I was worried that I was completely misunderstanding. Paul Dufresne is, as he said, got quite a good opportunity here from pole position, but Alberto NASCAR on the outside of the front row, and it did look like earlier on, as Paul alluded to, it did look as though the outside line was actually the preference. Because the outside line into turn 1, which is quite a fast corner, quickly becomes the inside, of course, for turn 2. 8 minutes and 8:18 until the countdown to command is uttered. These V8 motors will thunder into life, signaling the beginning of the formation lap. A very quick go into racing. Alberto NASCAR with Andre.
Alberto, we saw in the EuroNASCAR Pro race that the outside line, the second place, may be the better position instead of the pole position, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think I watched every race in YouTube from DTM to Volkswagen Polo Cup, trying to see if you can overtake starting in P2, and nobody did it. The only one that did it was Girelli in the EuroNASCAR Pro Race, but you know, that 1 hour started really badly, so I don't know what to expect. I will just see, as always.
All right, good luck and have fun.
I mean, sometimes people ask me, is it scary to race a race car? I can guarantee you that it's scarier what the little girls are doing down there. I saw a girl doing a backflip, and I would say, okay, I will never do that in my whole life. I think this is less dangerous than doing what. Oh, look at that. They're crazy. I mean, however,
I'm going to tell the person now, our cameraman, to turn around.
Yeah, I mean, I will say hi, ciao ragazzi, ciao amore, ciao a tutti quelli che mi stanno guardando. Bye.
Grazie mille. Ciao. Back to you, Adam.
Oh, he doesn't miss, does he? I do love Alberto Nasca. He is quite the character. And as he rightly says, some of the cheerleading that we have all year long, part of the American feel, American sporting feel of these EuroNASCAR events, we always have local cheerleading groups. I believe that once again, this is the Mountain Tigers cheerleaders. I believe it's the Mountain Tigers that are the NFL-style players, the American football players that you see down on the grid. Germany actually has quite a rich history of American football, as a matter of fact. Do you remember that song, What Is Love, by a guy called Hadaway? Hadaway used to be an American football player. There's my useless 90s pop music fact for the day. Oh dear. Martin Dubeck, 2021 EuroNASCAR 2 champion. He is awaiting his opportunity to launch off the line. He's got a little way to work though, because he started all the way down, or will be starting. No, sorry, apologies, I'm looking at the wrong grid sheet. I was looking at EuroNASCAR Pro. EuroNASCAR 2, he did well in qualifying actually. Third on the grid, Martin Dubeck, alongside Jill Linster. Now, Jill Linster, they're looking under the bonnet there on Jill Linster's car. Hopefully that's just precautionary and they're not worried about something. They're making some adjustments to the engine there, but hopefully everything's okay down at Hendricks Motorsport. That's of course the same car that Liam Hasemans was racing earlier on. National anthem. I believe that was the Highwayman providing our national anthem there. And a great performance of the US national anthem. The Star Spangled Banner is held aloft. While we are a million miles away from San Diego, the American national anthem is always part of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series package. It's one of the cornerstones of this event. The appeal of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series events is it is very much, as I've said earlier on, a bit like a 51st state almost. It's very much rooted in American car culture in particular. There's always plenty of American muscle, new and old, in the display areas. Lots of American car clubs congregate at these events. I think you'll also won't have to go too far to find a good burger around here. Good burger lost, good burger found. 2 minutes and 40 seconds until the countdown to command is given. Alberto NASCAR will be the one that a lot of people will be watching. NASCAR, who said, well, I don't think I've seen anyone go around the outside and take the lead apart from Vittorio Garelli. Oh, I've seen a few people do it. But that said, I've also seen a few people go straight across the gravel at turn 1 trying to do it. So I do appreciate his point that it is very tricky indeed to make these move sticks around the outside at turn 1. Of course, the turn 1 that was reprofiled in the mid-late 2000s for car racing, causing John Cleland to infamously state that we should dispose of the person who designed the corner. That layout is very scarcely used these days. Now we are back to the original sweeping first turn, which I think is definitely an improvement. It does mean there's one less banzai braking zone on the lap, but frankly any action that we did gain through that layout was usually counteracted by a hefty dose of drama, usually very unnecessary drama at that. So I think the fact that that first corner is faster is for the best. Certainly on this rolling start, it's still going to be very difficult for everyone to find room. It is quite a narrow circuit at points, the Motorsport Arena Oschersleben. You see the American footballers retreating. It's 1 minute until the wall of silence becomes a wall of noise. I believe once again Jesse Punch has the honour of being Grand Marshal. Jesse, who has come over from the US along with Ryan Vargas and 3F Racing. 3F Racing, of course, a German-founded NASCAR team aiming to compete in the Cup Series.
In motorsports, Oschersleben, are you ready? One more time, are you ready?
Now? No, 15 seconds. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Whenever you want, you can go.
Hey, drivers, start your engine!
Oh yes, 10 out of 10, sir. I was feeling that moment. That was brilliant. I believe, I know that wasn't Jesse Punch, I think that was John Lee Hooker Jr., if I'm not mistaken, giving the command. He committed to that, didn't he? Very good job, sir. The NASCAR Whelen Euro Series EuroNASCAR 2 race, 16 laps will begin in just a few moments' time. 21 Renegade Racing drivers will head down to the first corner at full chat in just a couple of minutes. They will be led by Paul Dufro, or maybe Alberto NASCAR. Those two share the front row. Those are two of the championship top three, second and third in the championship respectively. Our championship leader, Vladimiros Tsiortsis, though, well, he is set to start at the very back of the grid. And that's if the car is even there to start. We'll have to keep an eye on whether number 5 is there. The flags wave, and we are now ready to go racing. Formation lap then. Paul Dufro will start from pole position. He will be alongside Alberto NASCAR. Alberto NASCAR in second place. Third place, Martin Dubeck alongside Jill Linster. Row 3 of the grid, P5, is Claudio Remeggio Capelli alongside Melvin de Groot, the Dutchman. Those two fighting for legend honours. Patrick Schauber in 7th place alongside Roberto Benedetti. A good qualifying from Benedetti. Thomas Duffel, who unfortunately I believe got a penalty eventually in EuroNASCAR Pro. He'll be alongside Riccardo Romagnoli. Thomas Dombrowski on row 6 alongside Nick Schneider. Row 7, Jack Davidson will be alongside Mario Ercoli. Mario Ercoli, 16 years old, the younger brother of Gianmarco. 15th place, Mikael Bleekemolen, rounding out your top 15. Sven van Leer in 16th in the 56. Dominic Schack in the 99 Promotion car. Promotion, the home team, the German squad, in 17th. Matthias Hauer alongside in the 40. Eric Quintal and Ariana Casoli make it 3 cars from Speedhouse in a row there, 40, 64 and 14. However, I do not see Vladimiros Tsiotsis. Oh, that's big. Vladimiros Tsiotsis is not on this formation lap. Once again, Vladimiros Tsiotsis' car, which started to show signs of issues in the qualifying sessions this morning, the speedy Cypriot isn't there. The driver who comes into this race as championship leader will not be after this race. Of course, after this weekend, the driver's 2 worst scores are deleted, so it's not the end of the world if you have a bad result now. Going into the double point season finale next month in Zolder. But this is going to be a tough blow for Tsiotsis. I'm sure he'll be watching as the rest of the cars roll away. Time for the intros is over. It's time to go racing. The NASCAR Whelen Euro Series is underway for 16 laps for EuroNASCAR 2, and it's a good start from Paul Dufro. Dufro leads into the first corner. He's followed by Alberto Nasca. It's side by side for 3rd place as Jill Linster tries to hold on around the inside of Dubek. Everyone else trying to find space and succeeding at doing so. Fairly calm off the line, thankfully. Paul Dufro, though, is the leader in the early going. Just another day on earth for Paul Dufro, who has become a dominant force, really, in the last couple of meetings. Since taking on the EuroNASCAR Pro seat in the number 3 team, he seems to have come on leaps and bounds. He leads the way early on. I think we had the 46 of Nick Schneider going off at the triple there, but he's managed to rejoin the race. It's Dufro from Nasca, from Dubek, from Linster, Claudio Remeggio Capelli, Melvin de Groot, the top 6 remaining in the same order they were at the start. I think potentially Thomas Dombrowski may have made up a few positions, or is that Roberto Benedetti in 7th? It's probably Benedetti, yes it is. Linster, though, in early going, looking to try and get past Dubek. He's often made light of how he kind of lurks just outside the podium positions, Jill Linster. You'll want less of that this time. Lap 2 of the race, and Dufro it is who leads the way. Martin Dubek behind Alberto Nasca in 3rd place. He's under a lot of pressure, but he's anything but a paperweight. Oh my goodness, that was a little bit late on the brakes there from Jill Linster. I think Melvin de Groot also went deep into the first corner, or the first proper corner, turn 2. Oh, and Claudio Remeggio Capelli kicking up the dust there as well. No one side by side just yet. Sure that will come as the race goes on. A lot of racing here at Oschersleben. You've just got to pressure your opponent, get them to leave the door an iota open, especially at the chicane. If they make a mistake coming out of turn 10, the long back straight towards turn 11 is your best friend. Paul Dufro, the early leader on lap 2 of this race. Has anyone dropped down the order significantly on that first lap? Not really. Riccardo Romagnoli lost a couple of places. I think Patrick Schauber down in 9th place. He won't be too happy with where he is. He has a look to the inside of Benedetti there. Schauber in 8th place, I should say. Patrick Schauber in the double V. Double V Ford Mustang, Double V Racing. We've seen some good results out of Patrick Schauber this year. They've also seen their fair share of dramas. Patrick will be looking to try and move up the order in this race, the young Austrian. See Claudio Remeggio Capelli all over the back of Gil Linster. That's interesting. Then the momentum, the pendulum has swung. Because it was Linster challenging Dubek. It's now Linster being challenged by Capelli. Benedetti drifting a little bit wide there at turn 7. Someone kicking up some dust there. Patrick Schauber right in the toe of the number 88, looks to the inside. Oh, and off track there, was that Benedetti? Did they trace lines until they met? Schauber is on the track and Benedetti is not. We didn't see a collision, but I suspect that Benedetti either had to take evasive action. It would be a very unusual mistake, but it could be, I suppose. Nonetheless, Benedetti has gone straight on, and he's lost out on his 7th position. Schauber up to 7th, 9th place then for Benedetti. Thomas Tuffel also moving up to 8th. He drifts very wide there at turn 2, Hotel. Of course, you can drift wide and then get a good run out of the corner, but you have to be careful not to do exactly what Tuffel just did there. Put the power down too early and then go off track. Well, Melvin de Groot has his hands full. He's, of course, trying to keep Claudio Remeggio Capelli in sight for the Legend Trophy class element of this race, but he's also got Patrick Schauber just behind him. Well, these cars aren't made of polythene. By no means are they delicate in nature. You can go door to door, you can go wheel to wheel. We saw a penalty there applied already, so we've already got someone getting a little bit of a telling off. 5-second penalties given out there. Patrick Schauber, not one of the two that got a penalty. It was the 99 and the 34 car, so the 34 Thomas Tuffel. That's a shame for him. Another 5-second penalty. I believe he got something similar in the EuroNASCAR Pro race earlier for different reasons. And then the 99 car is the promotion entry of Shaq on his EuroNASCAR debut. And look at Patrick Schauber, the stance of the car, so aggressive there as he launched it over those curves. I don't know if he's being entirely transparent with intentions, but at the very least he's being opaque. Oh, 48 and 46 colliding. The Marco Stipp Motorsport cars. Did they just have an accident together? Oh no. Who's the enemy there? Well, that was Davidson and Schneider. Jack Davidson and Nick Schneider, both off the track. Well, I mean, there's a remote possibility that it was because of a third party, but two cars were off and both from the same team. That doesn't often fly well with the team boss. Battle for third place then, getting intense. The top two are pulling away. Paul Giffreau was 1.3 seconds clear of NASCAR. It's side by side for 6th place in the back of shot. Patrick Schauber is through into 6th position. No, he's not. Wow, he was right there on the inside line, side by side with Melvin de Groot. I don't know how Melvin quite managed to negotiate that one, but he's managed to keep himself ahead for now. But I'm sure that Patrick Schauber will come back around. We have started lap 6 of the race then, 10 to go. Into turn 2 they go. Oh, and Schauber sees the open door. Melvin de Groot almost getting a tap there. I think there may have been a little bit of contact as Gil Linster is really having to stave off Claudio Remeggio Capelli. He may be leading the Legend Trophy element of this race, but he's thinking purely about the overall podium, I reckon. He wants to get past Linster and then take Dubek as well. We won't be left wishing for the sun in this race. You can see the cloud cover overhead. There is also still sunlight peeking through, but there are some nasty clouds as well. There has been rain elsewhere. South in Italy, there's been a lot of rain today. Patrick Schauber again looks to the inside of Melvin de Groot, is not close enough. But Schauber making his intentions clear, and I tell you what, this is going to be a long race for Melvin if he has to keep defending like this. Out wide there, de Groot in the 69, Thomas Tuffel. Again, 5-second penalty to him, but he might not know that yet, and if he does, he might be angry about it, so I'm sure he's still going to get involved. Patrick Schauber having a little look to the inside there, couldn't quite do it. Undivided attention to the inside line from Patrick Schauber, and he gets the move done. Very nice. Melvin de Groot just drifted it a bit too wide through turn 2 at Hotel, couldn't quite get the car nailed to the apex, and Patrick Schauber gets through into 6th position. Very nicely done from Schauber. It's lap 7 of the race, and Schauber is up to P6. His next target, his next target, Claudio Remeggio Capelli, about 3 seconds up the road, so he's got some work to do, but Schauber is quick, and Martin Dubek seems to be something of a roadblock here for the likes of Linster and Capelli. He's not quite got the race pace, it seems. He had a good lap in quali. Dubek, a stern racer. I'm sure he's not going to make it easy. He's a EuroNASCAR 2 champion for a reason. Across the line they come to begin the halfway point of the race, the start of lap 8 of 16. It'll be half distance next time they cross the line. Martin Dubek must be driving largely through the mirrors here. And we get a replay here of... Is that Romagnoli getting... this is Davidson and Schneider's incident from a few laps ago, and yeah, no, that was friendly fire, I'm afraid. I don't know. I feel like Nick Schneider probably didn't need to have his nose there, but they met in the middle. That's the ultimate conclusion. 5-second penalty to Schneider for causing an avoidable collision, so apparently I'm correct in my summary of that, which is comforting. There's Alberto Nasca, still on the hunt, and in fact he's closing in, isn't he? He was 1.1 seconds back from Giuffro a lap ago. It's now going to be a bit less, I think. Gone from 1.3 to 1.1 over the last couple of laps. What's the gap this time? It'll update on our graphics momentarily. Under a second, 0.9. Okay, that's interesting. Martin Dubek comes across the line with a mirror full of Gil Linster in the battle for 3rd place. None of the positions on that podium are secure at this stage at all. We will find out who goes where piece by piece, but I wouldn't want to put money on any of these positions right now. How is Schauber's pace relative to Capelli? Claudio Remeggio Capelli's last lap of 1:33.1, a 32.9 only for Patrick Schauber. So he's not actually closing in on Capelli as I suspected he may. Dubek drifting wide, a little bit too wide, but just about holding on to third position for now. Again, I feel for him. He's really having to work this. Some dust being kicked up from ahead. Hopefully that wasn't a major mistake from Jufro or NASCAR. There was a back marker there as well. I think that was Ariana Casoli, but hopefully Paul Jufro is still there. I've seen NASCAR, but not Jufro yet. Worry a little bit when the dust is kicked up, but hopefully everyone is still there. Third, fourth and fifth places all run out of the last corner. Jufro did cross the line in the lead, 2.7 seconds clear. Okay, so I think Alberto NASCAR got tripped up a bit there by Ariana Casoli in the 14 car, unfortunately. The chicane is not a good place to meet slower cars. Seen that cause chaos in all manner of GT races and longer distance races here at Oschersleben over the years. Casoli giving a wide berth to the apex there at Schlossgold, doing all she could to stay out of the way. And the 64 car of Eric Quintal being found at the apex by Martin Dubek. Dubek manages to negotiate it nicely. I think both he and Linster were tripped up by that, so I don't think the advantage falls for either. Linster looking to the inside there. There's a little bit of aggression being shown. Martin Dubek anything but tender though. He will fight for this one with rugged determination. I'm sure Linster knows that. All three cars come across the line in tandem. Claudio Remeggio Capelli is just waiting for his shot, I reckon. A wily Italian racer. Brilliant driver in the wet. Both he and Alberto NASCAR showed some great wet weather prowess at Most. How he'd drive on Dove Grey sands, like the Daytona beach race back in the day. I don't know if the facilities are there for us to have a dirt race like Bristol in the Cup Series, in NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, but I'd really love to see how some of these drivers would do on a dirt oval one day, maybe. Capelli locking up a little bit there. Dubek really likes that wide line at turn 7. It leaves the apex open, but it also allows you to square off the corner. I think Linster knows that the nose would just get chopped off the car if he tried to sneak up the inside there. Through the 13th turn goes Jufro. Number 3 car beginning a new lap, beginning lap number 12 in the lead by 2.8 seconds. NASCAR was gaining on Jufro, but since what we didn't see happen, but what we suspect happened with NASCAR getting tripped up by the back marker, I think that he's lost a little bit of momentum. The gap's out to 3 seconds, as a matter of fact. I think NASCAR just slightly spooked, perhaps, by what happened. Third, fourth and fifth place running in tandem right now. That Claudio Remeggio Capelli is the kind of driver that stands on the edge, is aware that we can't rewind in motorsport. There's no reset button here. Oh, and Linster He clips that curb too much. He drifts wide at turn 10, and that's the opportunity that Claudio Remigio Capelli has been waiting for. He's been lurking, he's been waiting, and finally the opportunity has come. Capelli is up into 4th place. Can he now go podium hunting? Will he have any more luck with Martin Dubek? Does he have the pace to close in on Martin Dubek now? And look at Patrick Schauber. I said that he wasn't quite gaining on Capelli in the manner I thought he would, but he's right there now behind Gilles Linster. Of course, for Dufresne, for NASCAR and for Linster, the 4 who seem to be the primary title contenders, with Vladimiros Tsiotsis somewhere on the sidelines. It's an opportunity for all of them to pick up points, so Linster losing positions is a big disappointment, and Patrick Schauber had a little look to the inside there. Oh, Linster will try and keep this 5th position in a choke, but he's going to have to work hard to keep that car in 5th place. Will it be heads held high at Hendricks? We'll have to see. Patrick Schauber has that inside line. Linster. Oh dear. Linster just off his rhythm now after that error at the chicane a lap ago. He's now down to 6th place. Patrick Schauber made that look easy. And will he now light those afterburners like Buck Rogers and try and find himself a 4th, maybe even a 3rd place? Linster and Hendricks Motorsport will be disappointed to have seen that car fall to 6th place. There's an issue. There's an issue for Linster. He's pulled into the pit lane. Linster went into the pits there, so clearly something wrong with the 50 car. That's a huge shame for Gilles Linster. Meanwhile, Paul Dufresne powers out of turn 3 as Gilles Linster rumbles toward the pit lane, unfortunately. He will be extremely discontent with how this race has happened for him. Things have not panned out as desired or anticipated there. Paul Dufresne with a 4.3 second lead. That is massively extending. Well, if you don't see the signs, it's pretty clear that Paul Dufresne is in a class of his own in this race now. NASCAR was matching him earlier on, but that's not the case anymore. And is that Schneider again? No, that's the... Yes, it is Schneider. And that car is showing the wounds, isn't it? Oh, and that is a big piece of bodywork down on the exit of the final corner. Will they just cover that under local yellows, or will there be a safety car? If there's a safety car, I suspect there'll be an overtime finish. Paul Dufresne will be begging them to not put a safety car out right now. That would be a big shot to the foot for his race lead, especially with the 2x2 restart. He does not want that. So far for Paul Dufresne, it's been pretty close to my perfect day. Let's hope that this doesn't go against him. I think if there were to be a safety car, it would have come out by now. So I think he's safe. This is lap 15 of the race. They will start the final lap this time by. There's a lot of debris around this circuit. The cars have been rather ambitious at times, or the drivers have been rather ambitious with their cars at times. But as I alluded to, you kind of need to be that way. around this circuit if you're going to make moves up the order, but it's a high-risk, high-reward strategy. Oh, and look at... Oh, that's Mario Urqueli off the circuit there. There was also a battle further back, I think, between, yes, Dubek and Capelli. So Mario Urqueli is in the gravel trap. Meanwhile, Claudio Remeggio Capelli has one last opportunity to try and find a way past all that third position. He won't be able to drink cider from 11 if he gets into third place, because he has to drive again in the morning, but he will certainly be very happy with a podium if he can get it. It's the final lap of the race though, and I think Dubek has just enough of an advantage at this point to continue to stave off the advances, and it'll be an all-time tired interview, I think, with Andre Viegold if he does secure that podium, because Dubek has been fighting every inch of the way in this race. Paul Dufresne, meanwhile, will be just a couple of corners from home. And for RDV competition, this has been a year where they have once again found the colour. After a few years in the darkness, Paul Dufresne is restoring RDV competition to their rightful place in victory lane. He crosses the line. Alberto Nasca takes second place. Martin Dubek and Claudio Remeggio Capelli come across the line astern, but it is Martin Dubek that manages to hold on against all odds there. Melvin de Groot crosses the line in 6th place behind Patrick Schauber, who secured 5th position. A good drive from Schauber. Ultimately, Tafel is meant to finish 7th. He's 7th across the line, but he had a 5-second penalty, didn't he? Now, how far back did Dombrowski? Dombrowski finished about 7 seconds behind, so I think Thomas Tafel will have 7th place ahead of Dombrowski. Riccardo Romagnoli 9th. Roberto Benedetti has already crossed the line in 10th. Jack Davidson in 11th place after his off-track issues earlier on. Dominic Schack in 12th place, and Mikael Blekemolen in 13th. 14th position will go to Nick Schneider, I believe, although Sven van Leer not far behind him, so whether or not there's a last lap change there for 14th, I'm not sure. No, Schneider did cross the line in 14th ahead of Sven van Leer. Mario Urqueli is due across the line. He will finish 16th in his first appearance in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series at just 16 years and 4 days old. Mario Urqueli. Gil Linster ultimately finishing 17th. He did rejoin the race after going into the pits, but a 17th place finish is not how he will have wanted to have capitalised on Vladimiros Tsiortzis' absence. With Tsiortzis not scoring, with Dufresne and Nasca finishing in 1st and 2nd respectively, I think that could be a definitive shot in the gut of Gil Linster's title aspirations. Paul Dufresne will be our championship leader, I believe, after this one. I'm sure that Razor from the world of EuroNASCAR will confirm or deny. It was a great start from Paul Dufresne, who led into the first corner and would not relinquish that lead from there, although Alberto Nasca certainly pressured him for much of the race. Collision between the two Marco Stipp motorsport cars. That will not be popular in the garage. Nick Schneider judged to have been at fault for that. And Schneider has a 5-second penalty to his name for that incident, so Sven van Leer will be bumped up a position. Patrick Schauber, after several laps of trying, managed to get himself past Melvin de Groot. Jack Davidson with a nice move on Mikael Blekemolen. We didn't see that live, but that was a pretty good dive down at turn 14. A good illustration that that can be a good overtaking opportunity. A bit close there between Casoli and Romagnoli as well. Curb taking there, and it was actually too much curb right there in that moment. that sent Gil Linster down behind Claudio Remeggio Capelli. From there he would only descend. Patrick Schauber was the next car to get through, and then at the end of this lap, Linster ended up in the pits. But for Paul Giuffreau, he was so far ahead that if anyone tried to call out to him, he would simply be too far away to hear. He's on the on the door already, celebrating. The Frenchman with a mighty result in that race. 30-second penalty for the number 50 car. Gil Linster goes from bad to worse. A 30-second penalty, speeding in pit lane. Maybe it was a slow puncture or something of that nature that sent him into the pits in the first place, but what a disappointment for the Hendricks Motorsport 50 crew. No disappointment though, nothing but high for RDV competition at the moment. Paul Giuffreau is holding them aloft
I'm just
and giving them their 7 days in the sun. Andre, down to you with Paul.
I have to be honest, I think I have friends at home I've not talking so much as like with you. In victory lane again, Paul Giuffreau, how is it going?
Good, for sure good. The pace was just really good. We had the issue with the Lapet guy with NASCAR that made a bigger gap, and I think since that moment we decided both to lift off to preserve the tire for tomorrow, because every time I was lifting off a bit more to get like 90% of driving, and Alberto was doing even more. So I think that we have keep extremely good tire, both of us, for tomorrow. So this will be a close race tomorrow.
You know what time it is now to put some more colors on your car. Here's the winner sticker in EuroNASCAR 2. The third one this season, 1 in EuroNASCAR Pro, 2 in EuroNASCAR 2 that I see here on this side. And with this sticker on the car, it will say, back to you, Adam.
There you go. He's not the most precise sticker placement person, but other than that, Giuffreau has been really impressive so far this season. Compared to what he was doing last year was a decent season for him, a good first year in EuroNASCAR 2, but he's really come alive this year with RDV competition. I know that Frédéric Gabillon is still very much involved there in trying to guide the young Frenchman. And his upside is apologies, I've been muted and talking. My apologies. I was just talking about Paul Giuffreau, how impressive he's been so far at RDV competition. His second proper season of EuroNASCAR, he's been brilliant. And speaking of RDV competition, they continue to celebrate renewed success this year. Andre, team boss.
Yes, Frank Viola here. Another victory for Paul Giuffreau here in Oschersleben. How happy are you?
Yeah, so Paul is very fast. So the car works, but Paul is a very amazing driver. You can be sure it is very, very fast. I'm sure to be a lot of things with Paul in NASCAR 2 this year and in Pro, sure.
We have to talk about the championship right now. We cannot leave this topic away anymore. How often do you think about this could be the year?
We need to work a lot because, you know, the points come double for in Belgium. So the big job is this weekend, but the big job is in Belgium.
All right. Merci beaucoup. Congratulations.
Et salut, merci. Salut, coucou la France.
And back to you, Adam.
Thank you very much, Andre. So then, Paul Giuffreau, at this stage, will have the most points of anyone in EuroNASCAR 2. However, with the drop scores applied, the battle gets very interesting. Remember, 2 drop scores after this weekend going into the double points finale at Zolder. 289 points as it stands for Alberto NASCAR. So NASCAR, with the drop scores applied, is your points leader by 1. Paul Dufro on 288, just 1 point back from NASCAR. Vladimiros Siortzis, 283. Although he didn't take the start in this race, so I wonder if he'll actually get points. That will be a question mark. We'll have to wait and see. Jill Linster, 264. Martin Dubek on 245. That will be your top 5 in the championship right now. Jill Linster, 264. Martin Dubek, 245. Rookie points leader Thomas Dombrowski, quite comfortably leading that, and Claudio Remeggio Capelli is your Legend Trophy points leader still after that race. See you, Andre.
Okay, thank you so much. It's a lot of music here at the moment. Martin Dubek, a race where you had to look a lot into your back mirrors, but you defended all the attacks.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed and angry to myself because I was thinking about any plan what to do during the race, and I calculated with some safety cars, so I had too high tires pressure, and after 5 laps my tires was dead, and I didn't know what to do there, so it was like on the ice. But yeah, I'm happy for podium. P3 is really nice here. Before quali, during the practices and for the quali, I didn't expect this, so I'm happy for this, and we will see what tomorrow. But I don't have good lap time for tomorrow for the grid, so I think it will be start from P7 or P6, something like this. But yeah, I'm happy for the podium.
About tomorrow, the tires, are they done, or do you think with the different tire pressure you can squeeze a little bit more performance out of them?
I think that it's not totally dead, so that we can imagine with some lower pressure, but I will see. I didn't see the tires now, but I think that's still good for one race, so we'll see.
Thank you so much, congratulations. Back to you, Adam.
Thank you very much to Martin Dubek there from Hendricks Motorsport. My apologies, just processing a note there from Vijay Razor from the EuroNASCAR media team. But Alberto NASCAR is with Andre at the moment, so let's go to him.
So much, Adam. Alberto, you were catching up, but then we saw a gap on the live timing. We didn't see what happened.
You didn't see what happened?
No.
I mean, I found a lapped car which was going like 10 seconds per lap slower, completely stuck in the middle of the fast chicane without respecting blue flags, without giving... I mean, I almost crashed into it and I almost spun. I lost like 4 seconds. I don't understand why people that go 10 seconds per lap slower decide to race. I mean, it's dangerous. It's not about having fun or something else. It's dangerous. If I crashed into it and I didn't lose my car to avoid it, I could have broken an arm. I could have ended the championship. I could have hurt the other driver. I don't understand, really. I don't understand the point.
But on the positive side, you had a good lap time, a good pace in the car. So for tomorrow, there will be a fascinating race against with Paul Dufro.
Yeah, I was faster. I was catching him and ruining a race for people that doesn't respect the rules. I mean, it's not fair. It's just not fair. We want to see good fights. We want to see people respecting the rules. I wanted to live a good fight with Dufro, because today we could have made a good show. It didn't happen. I don't know what else to say. I mean,
okay, totally respect that. Still, congratulations for second place.
Thank you. Congratulations to Dufro. He was very fast today, and we'll see tomorrow.
All right. Thank you so much. Back to you, Adam.
There you go. Alberto NASCAR clearly frustrated. If it's any consolation, he has pole position for Sunday's race with the fastest lap from this race. The Grid 4 Race 2 of a weekend is determined by the fastest laps in Race 1. It'll be him and Dufro on the front row again, but in reverse order. Jill Linster, despite his issues, will line up third on the grid provisionally, which is exciting for him. Capelli, Schauber and Benedetti, the first 3 rows of the grid. That's a very interesting top 6 there. Martin Dubek, as alluded to, issues with his tyres, issues with his pace, 8th only on the grid for Saturday for Sunday by the looks of it. There's Claudio Remeggio Capelli. The best beard in the business is with Andre Viegold.
Yes, thank you so much. This is not a easy top musician. This is Claudio Capelli, the winner in the Legend Trophy, and you're getting closer and closer to the overall podium.
Yes, only close, but very, very amusement during the race. I hoped until the end to catch Dubek, but if it doesn't make mistakes, so no way to pass him. He's a good guy to drive.
But are you still happy with the performance of the car and the race, how it went?
Yes, this weekend is very, very, very good. We have a very good car. I'm very sorry for my teammate that's got issue with stupid is possible. Stupid tube crashes. Never seen like that. So I'm afraid for Giorgio. My car was perfect. Let me performance as I want, and so the result is arrived.
All right. Grazie mille. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Back to you, Adam.
What I love about Claudio is he really looks like an old school NASCAR racer in the sense that he could probably make some nice moonshine. But he'll get some Guaran Pano instead to sip on this evening, and a huge congratulations to him. Really whipping the tail like Godzilla was Martin Dubek towards the end of that race. He was really sideways. It was quite scary to watch some of that driving towards the end. How Dubek kept that car relatively straight and narrow, I'm not quite sure. But interesting stuff then for Siortzis. Going into the next race. Of course, he will start from the back in this race because he didn't do a lap. So if he is out there in EuroNASCAR 2 tomorrow, he will have to start from the back anyway. So that's a big, big loss, a continued loss for Vladimiros Siortzis. Martin Dubek and Alberto Nasca are on the podium. And here comes Paul Dufresne. Dufresne on to the top step once again.
Vom Vorstand vom SC Magdeburg Leichtathletik von Paul Hünecke. Zweiter Platz die Trophäe vom Ex-Kapitän vom 1. FC Magdeburg, Marius Sowieslo.
If you weren't watching EuroNASCAR Pro earlier, look at these trophies. They are magnificent. And the biggest of all is now coming up the steps for Paul Dufresne. Very impressive trophy, very impressive drive from the man who holds it. The Guaran Pano is provided as well. Paul Dufresne in great form right now. The national anthem of France. There you go, the champagne is sprayed by Paul Dufresne. He's got company this time. He was spraying all by himself earlier on. Martin Dubek and Alberto Nasca. Nasca definitely sounding frustrated, and understandably so, but I think he'll have a little bit of time to cool down, time to realise that he will be the championship leader on points count back going into Sunday. Disappointing because he was closing in on Paul Dufresne, but he's proven he's got the pace to potentially fight for the win. Jumps down off the podium. He'll be giving it his all on Sunday, and he'll be giving it his all in Zolder as well. We look forward to that double point season finale. Legends Trophy podium is up next. Riccardo Romagnoli on the third step of the podium. Club Motorsport driver. Melvin de Groot from Team Bleekemolen taking the second step. He was fighting hard with Patrick Schauber there for much of the race, even though Patrick is not a part of that category. Certainly he will feel like he's done a lot of work to get on that podium. And Claudio Remigio Capelli taking the top step. The Italian stallion himself. Riccardo Romagnoli receiving his bottle and his trophy. Melvin de Groot and Claudio Remigio Capelli also receiving spoils. And there you go, the trophy for Claudio Remigio Capelli. They now pose for the pictures at the end of a hard day's racing. Those Hoosier tyres will have to do a lot of work again on Sunday. A word to our other partners as well, Kennel Performance Oil, McDonald's, TJ Jewelry, all of whom make these events possible. A great return to Germany so far, and the best may yet be coming on the Sunday. We've got one more podium ceremony though, and that is the rookie trophy. Jack Davidson, third step of the podium, and I think probably slightly disgruntled by that collision between himself and his teammate Nick Schneider. Thomas Dombrowski taking second. And Thomas Tuffel taking the top step in spite of that 5-second penalty. Nice driving from Tuffel in that race. Getting quicker, getting more consistent. I'm excited to see what he can do in year 2, actually. Should he rejoin us again in 2024. Jack Davidson will be fairly happy with third place in the rookie trophy, even with the dramas. Thomas Dombrowski continues to drive consistently. He's been great at staying largely out of trouble this season, Dombrowski, and that's half the battle as a young racing driver, especially when things like budget come into the conversation. But Thomas Tuffel is your winner in rookie trophy. Justin Bubel and Tobias Lemke, two guests of Whelen, have been, or guests of Whelen, sorry, have been presenting some of these trophies. And Paul Huneke will present another award, I believe, for the lady trophy for Ariana Casoli.
Diese Siegerehrung, liebe Zuschauer, die ist heute recht einfach, denn wir haben nur eine Teilnehmerin aus Italien, Ariana Casoli.
Ariana heads up onto the podium. Of course, she had Alina Leubnegger to race in Lady Trophy last time at Most, but Alina not here this weekend. And Paul Huneke posing with her for the pictures. And with that, the podium ceremonies are concluded. The day 1 of the NASCAR GP Germany is concluded, but there are 2 more races to come, one for each category. We'll start the day with EuroNASCAR 2 on Sunday at 10:10 Central European, and then at 1:55 p.m., 13:55, 24-hour clock, we'll have round 10 of the EuroNASCAR Pro, the final races of regular season before heading into the double points finale at Zolder. Who will leave Oschersleben with the upper hand in both championships? Join us on Sunday to find out.
when you come to Kvarner, treat yourself to an experience you will remember. Enjoy the luxurious ambience. Experience superior service. Indulge in endless pleasures. The pearl of the tourism offer in the pearl of the Adriatic. Liburnia, Hotels and Villas.